Hi, it's Renee Fredrickson from the Caregiver Resource Center, here to talk about one more exciting way of building community here in Salisbury and the surrounding communities. The guest today is Anna Scoville. Anna is a super volunteer who's working at the Caregiver Resource Center right now. And by the way, Caregiver Resource Center is a part of MAC Incorporated, our area agency on aging serving the Lower Eastern Shore. Anna, I know you have something exciting to talk about today, and it's called ICAN. What does ICAN mean? What is this all about?
ICAN is a volunteer program at MAC for the Caregiver Resource Center. And what it is it's a training program that helps develop people in the community who want to give back to the community. It's an opportunity for people to be ambassadors or representatives for MAC and the Caregiver Resource Center. And it really assists caregivers in finding the resources that they need and the supports they need.
Well, tell me on an average day, what might this ambassador do?
Oh my goodness. Well, on an average day, an ambassador may call in just to check in on someone who is working at home with a caregiver or a loved one. An ambassador may be doing a table display at a health fair in the community. Perhaps they're doing a food drive in the community. Recently we did a food drive to feed the hungry at Salisbury Giant. So a volunteer, an ambassador might be doing something like that. The ICAN program trains our volunteers to actually use a toolkit to do presentations.
And what's in the toolkit?
Oh, there's all kinds of things in the toolkit. There's equipment to use, iPads or laptops. There are forms to be filled out. There's training materials with PowerPoint presentations, and there's good discussion.
So give me for example, let's say that I'm at a health fair and I see you at the table with this display and it talks about caregiver resources. And I walk up to you and I ask you about getting some help to get rides back and forth to medical appointments that are about 50 miles away. What would you do to help me out with that? You mentioned some equipment and some forms and things. What would you do?
Well, I'd look in our guide or our directory to see what local resources would be available for that caregiver, because 50 miles is a long way to travel when you're working with a loved one who may have health needs. So if there are local resources, we'd try to hook up the caregiver with local resources. In the display there would be a laptop, and on that laptop, if we had access to the internet, we'd have to look up to see what kinds of resources are out there for that person that the person is giving care to. And there are two websites. Well, there are several websites. One, of course, we always want to introduce the MAC website.
So what will I find on the MAC website and on the MAC Caregiver website?
The MAC website will give you a host of resources. It'll give you a calendar of events. It'll give you a description of the various programs offered by MAC, descriptions of the staff and who work in those programs as well. The MAC Caregivers website is really designed to assist people in finding the resources specifically for caregiving.
I see. So if I walk up to this table and I see you pull out an iPad with a hotspot, then the next thing I might witness you doing is going to the MAC Caregiver website and then looking up resources that are actually statewide, I think, huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Because I remember the last time I went to it, we had hot links for something called MAPS, Maryland Access Point.
Yep.
And then the other one, of course, it covers us nationally for resources is Elder Care Locator.
Correct, yes.
So I could just go to one website, really, and get all of it involved. Well, do I just make that telephone call and sign up to be an ambassador, or is there any training or any cost to it?
Yes, you would call the MAC Center, and you can call the number 410-742-0505. You can call for extension 172, or the operator can connect you to the Caregiver Resource Center. It is free training. It is a 2-day training where we have a series of trainings coming up in April that we can go over, and I can share with you the dates and the locations of those. But typically, an ICAN training is a 2-day training from 10 to 3 p.m. There's a break for lunch. Lunch is provided. A light snack is provided. And they're typically in locations that are right in the community, so they're easily accessible for people in the community.
So what if I live in Somerset County? Do I have to drive all the way to Salisbury for the training?
No, you don't have to drive that far, but if you'd like to do that, you can do that.
Okay.
In April, on April 13th and April 27th, we're going to be at the Westover Senior Center, and I believe you might be familiar with that center. You've worked there and done
Oh
other
yes,
programs.
I think many people, especially in Somerset County, are familiar with that. It's a little bit off the road. I think it was at one time an elementary school, but it's been rehabbed for purposes of senior citizens and senior citizen training, and it is beautiful, beautiful.
Great.
So,
Well, I'm looking forward to doing the training there. Each of the trainings in April are Fridays, Saturdays, so they're
Okay.
back to back. You just have to bring yourself and hopefully bring a friend or a family member if they would like to learn more about the Caregiver Resource Center as well.
do I need to have a high school diploma or a college degree or anything to sign up?
No, we're looking for people who are at least 21 years of age. If you have some college or some high school, that's great, but we're really searching and reaching out to people who care for other people.
Okay.
It is a free training. There are some forms that need to be filled out, so you could call the MAC Center at the Caregiver Resource Center, and we can do it over the phone, or we can send you materials through email or through U.S. Postal Service to get the information that we need. We do look for people to make a 6-month commitment.
Okay.
Because when you do a 2-day training and you are exposed and introduced to a lot of resources, it takes time to really be able to navigate or find your way around those resources. So would like to see.
In other words, at this training, one of the things I will learn to do is use this little iPad or laptop to go to these websites I talked about, and then to find my way through them or navigate my way through the system to get to the resource request.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We'll spend probably a good deal of the second day of the training doing exactly that, navigating through the internet to find the resources. We'll have just different examples for people to kind of play with the computer and see what's out there.
Anna, what sort of person are we really looking for? Is there a particular profile?
There is. An ambassador is someone who acknowledges other people and respects other people. An ambassador is someone who supports people and checks out what their needs are. Ambassadors are problem solvers and guides and coaches. Ambassadors are people who do active listening and really allow people to formulate some of their own decisions. An ambassador affirms and inspires people and motivates people and models different skill sets and knowledge and maybe communication techniques. An ambassador is someone who understands and nurtures another person, but they're also someone who knows the ropes and can share information and knowledge with other people.
This sounds like my favorite neighbor. Well, that's a good picture of who might be the most comfortable in the ambassador's role, and it sounds like it's that friendly person, that warm personality that listens carefully and discreetly and keeps things confidential and becomes my best friend.
Yeah, part of the ICAN training actually is training the ambassador about the HIPAA regulations and how to maintain confidentiality, because I think that's a really important aspect of the training for folks to learn.
When I think of profiles in our community, I can't help but think of how rapidly the demographics in our communities on the Lower Eastern Shore are changing. You know, we started out with some English, and a few Germans came, and a few Swedes came, and of course we don't want to leave out the Irish and the Scots either, especially coming up this close to St. Patty's Day. But we have other people, other waves of new immigrants, new Americans coming into the country. Are they welcome, and are we doing anything with the Latino population?
Yes, we actually have a group of volunteers from the Central Latino area, and we have translated some of our materials into Spanish. So their materials on our display board is in Spanish, handouts are in Spanish. If there's anything that we need directly translated, we do have some volunteers. So that's another way volunteers can help, not only in translation, but actually getting out into the community and doing some of the events in their own communities, because I think that's the power behind the ICAN ambassador training, is that they're people from their communities training and helping other people in their community.
So each of us go back to our own churches, our own neighborhoods, our own social groups, whether they're formalized into an Elks Club or it's just a group we go camping with or a group we play cards with.
Right.
Huh?
It doesn't need to be a long formal presentation. It could be 5 minutes or 15 minutes, just to kind of get people thinking about, oh yes, well, maybe there are resources out there. How do I access them? And what do I have to do to find resources?
What if I'm a little bit shy about speaking in public? Do you have any videos or things that I could use to sort of introduce the topic and then plug it in and it plays the message and then I can ask for questions?
We do. The 2-day training is actually broken down into 14 DVDs.
Oh, okay.
So the ambassador can take those DVDs with him or herself and use them during training. I think another thing I'd like to encourage is, if it's your first time out and you're a little nervous, do it with someone else. Do it with a member of the team. It could be me or you or one of the other volunteers who've been out in the community and are comfortable with that venue, and they can kind of give some tips of the trade to the new volunteer.
Well, if it involves DVDs, I'll bring fresh popcorn too.
Sounds good.
Well, you mentioned a volunteer food drive that happened in the last couple of weeks, and I probably wouldn't need all those skills on the internet for a job like that. So I might, if I'm not comfortable on the web, I might volunteer anyway, because there would be other types of jobs I could do as an ambassador.
Absolutely. When we were at Salisbury Giant, we were looking for folks who just enjoy people, meeting and greeting people, people who can communicate, people who are excited about a project, whether it is getting signs and posters made up, to standing and greeting people and encouraging them to donate, dropping off the groceries to the food pantries. There are a lot of activities that volunteers can do that probably people don't even realize.
Yeah, well, it sounds endless. Well, let's say that I'm in Worcester County. Where would I go for this training in Worcester County, and when would it take place?
Okay, in Worcester County, on April 22nd and April 23rd, we're going to be at the Ocean Pines Library. Again, the training is 10 to 3. You just need to bring yourself and a friend or a family member. If there are any dietary restrictions, we do need to let people let us know if there is for lunches and snacks. But again, if there are any questions, you can give us a call at the MAC Center, Caregiver Resource Center, and we can get that information to the community.
How many volunteers are involved right now in the program, or is this something brand new?
No, it's not something brand new, and I'm not sure exactly how many volunteers are in the program. I'm guessing like 30, 40 volunteers.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and they do a variety of activities. As you said, there are some people who are great with the computer or an iPad, other people with communication, greeting and meeting people, and others who just want to be able to support in more subtle, quieter ways, like picking up groceries and delivering them to food pantries or other events.
Well, if I'm dealing with people, are there any tips in the training on dealing with people of different ages and different abilities?
Absolutely. There's some great training on diversity, and that is typically done the first day in getting to know you. There's also a sensitivity training on learning about people who are aging and kind of being aware of what's going on in their lives and how things are adapted to meet their needs. So yes, there's a whole host of working with people who are different than you, but who are the same as you. So there's a great training on diversity and sensitivity.
You know, I know that we work in Dorchester County as well. So if I happen to live in Cambridge or Hurlock or into the Blackwater Refuge area, where would I go for my training in Dorchester County?
You've got it. April 15th and April 16th, we're going to be in Cambridge. That is the Eastern Shore Hospital Center, English Hall in Cambridge.
Okay. And it will be the same training in each location?
Yes, it'll be the same training. I'll be joining you, Renee, to do the training on both of those days. And we're really encouraging people to sign up early so that we know what kind of population we have and how to get materials ready in advance. Each training will provide the participants with a really nice packet of information that spells everything out. And they'll have slides that go along with the PowerPoint presentations, the forms that they'll need to fill out as an ambassador, and so on and so forth.
Well, it sounds like, you know, if I never decided to volunteer full-time, that I certainly would have all kinds of new resources I could use myself and for my family or for people in my church or other places where I bump into people that are caregivers, and that's nearly everywhere today.
Yes, and we do encourage people to come out and participate in the training. If they're on the fence and they're not sure if they really want to volunteer or they can give a long-term commitment, we do want people to have the information on how to locate the resources they need for their loved ones.
Well, you mentioned a 6-month commitment. How heavy is this commitment? Does it mean that I have to come every week or every month or?
No, we would like to see you as involved as you can possibly get.
Okay.
So it may be some work on the telephone or on the computers, on the internet. But with a 6-month commitment, we're looking for you to try to get involved somehow, at least once a month.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty realistic. We hope to have opportunities for events in the community. There's the St. Patty's Day walk that's coming up for MAC. And we'd like to have the Caregiver Resource Center represented at that event. There are other events that will be coming up as well. And we just want to have a presence because an ambassador really is a representative of MAC and of the Caregiver Resource Center. And we just want to get the word out that there are a lot of things happening at the Caregiver Resource Center that people probably are not aware of.
Right, and if they were supported with those things, their life would probably be more comfortable. I think so often of the caregivers that call into our line, and in too many cases they wait too long to reach out for some support. And in fact, it's not unique to Salisbury or Wicomico County. Across the nation, we find about 30% of caregivers die before their loved ones because they wait too long to ask for that helping hand. The helping hand might be just added information that we can add from our table, or some counseling, or some financial help, or something else, and the Caregiver Resource Center has been up and running over 3 years now, and we've served so many people, from telehealth appointments for Parkinson's disease assessments to the walk-ins that we have. One of the really interesting things that we're offering right now is the watercolor painting class.
Yes.
And it's sort of a different sort of support group. People gather just like in other support groups, and they talk about things happening in their lives, and we talk about the paint. We actually do pay attention to the lesson for about 10 minutes out of the 2 hours. And we go back feeling like we've created something, we feel refreshed. And
that's wonderful. Oftentimes caregivers do feel a sense of isolation, that they're out in the world by themselves, and for them to connect socially, whether it's through artistic endeavors or a support group or a happy hour or any kind of event, really, really can build their confidence and their sense of self again, and I think that's really important too. So.
Anna, you mentioned that people can call our office. Are there other ways they can get the full list of the sites and the dates and times and all of that?
Sure, people can feel free to contact our website, which is MACcaregivers.org.
MACcaregivers.org, and at MACcaregivers.org I'll find all kinds of resources, but I will also find the dates and locations of each one of these wonderful training sessions.
Yes.
Speaking of things that happen out of MAC here in Salisbury, and of course we have information on all of the counties, and as I said earlier, even beyond our counties to other states. Where is the location that I would go for the training in Salisbury, and what time would that be and date?
Okay, in Salisbury we're going to be at the Wicomico County Fire Station.
Okay.
And that's number 16, Fire Hall 16, and that I do have the address for.
Oh, that's good.
That's at 325 Cypress Street in Salisbury. And those dates are April 29th and April 30th. So come on out and bring your friends and your family and join us for a local training there. The Worcester County training is in April also, and it's April 22nd and April 23rd. That's at the Ocean Pines Library. And I think I have that address as well. That's 11107 Cathell Road, Ocean Pines. Dorchester County we talked about, and Somerset County we talked about. So the Caregiver Resource Center has a presence in each of the 4 counties on the Lower Shore. And I think that's one of the valuable resources that we have at MAC, because the Caregiver Resource Center is in all 4 counties and providing support.
Well, Anna, this has been a treat to find out more about this opportunity to volunteer. It sounds like I can kind of pick and choose the different activities or events that I participate in. It sounds like you have all the preparation done for me. I just pick it up and go with it. It sounds like I won't have to worry about not knowing what to do, because I have training in advance of my to-do list. And it sounds like a great opportunity to meet new friends and get out and help to build community. Anything that I've missed in that long list?
I think one of the things we'd like people to know is that there is continued training and support for the ambassadors.
Okay.
We'd like to be able to provide monthly trainings on issues that come up. Or more information that the ambassadors may need to know, or perhaps guest speakers on a specific topic that has come up in our work with the ambassadors. Other than that, I think we've covered it pretty well.
You make me think about one other question, and that is, what if I am an ambassador already and I can volunteer, and I'm kind of feeling a little bit rusty on the laptop and the iPad tool for finding resources. Would it be all right if I came and joined the new recruits?
Absolutely. Come to any of these 4 trainings. We'd love to have you.
Okay.
And anytime that you're feeling rusty or unsure of your skill set, just give us a call and we'll be there. We'll be there to coach you through any problems that you might have or that might come up as you're working through the training materials. I know that when you're doing presentations, and this includes myself sometimes, the technology doesn't always operate when you want it to.
Yeah.
So you need to be prepared for that in advance.
Well, we always have the hard copy back.
Absolutely, that's what I was going to say. We have the packet, everything's outlined in the packet for the participants, so you always have backup.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And one more time, who do we call and what is their phone number?
You call the MAC Center, and you can call 410-742-0505, extension 172.
And ask for Anna.
You can ask for Anna, absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you as well to all our friends listening today. We hope to see you at these trainings, and a big thanks to PAC 14. They have been such an important part of building our community, and in particular, building support for the caregiver community.
Would you like to see your community organization or nonprofit group featured on PAC 14? To get started, contact us at 410-677-5014 or visit our website at www.pac14.org. PAC 14 is a great way to connect with your community.